Hello, good afternoon everyone, and welcome to another Art for All session. My name's Lucy. I work as a creative artist at St Christopher's Hospice. Normally on a Tuesday afternoon we would have an art group in the Anniversary Centre, which is open for anybody to attend. If you're a patient, a staff member, volunteer, member of the community, friends and family, anybody at all is free to attend the art sessions in the Anniversary Centre. But at the moment we still have restrictions in the hospice on visitors because of the pandemic, so we are hosting I am hosting the art group on YouTube and sending out videos every week at 2 p.m, which is the time we would normally be meeting in person, and hopefully soon we're able to get back to that. So this week I decided to go with something a little bit different, something I had in my drawer full of art materials. Not everybody may have this, but now that shops are opening up a bit more, you might well be able to go and get some. So what I have is rather heavy, and it is a big tub of clay. I have some air drying modelling clay. So normally if you have just pottery clay, that's not the technical name for it, but sort of clay that isn't labelled as air drying, then that kind of clay, once you've worked with it, let it harden, you can then put it in a kiln and fire it, and then it will become very, very hard and won't dissolve if you put it into water. Whereas with air drying clay, you can't put that into a kiln because it has fibres in it that allow it to air dry very quickly, but don't go well with kilns and very, very high heat. So this is something that you can use at home if you don't have a kiln. It's ideal for that. And I thought that today what I would make is something not very complicated, mainly because I am not a ceramicist, I'm not a potter at all, I'm definitely not Grace and Perry, but something that I often quite like to do with clay, and kind of like just the feeling of it. It's kind of being a bit experimental with it, and also kind of enjoying the feeling of it. And we can all maybe remember playing with Play-Doh when we were young, but we don't have the opportunity to kind of really get our hands messy or kind of get to use clay very often. I know that lots and lots of kids at the moment really enjoy making slime and using slime, and clay is a bit different, but there's something about it that kind of reminds me of that. Anybody with grandchildren, I'm sure, is or anybody who has school children is familiar with slime. Clay, a bit different, but along the same lines. So open this up, and I'm going to take a big handful. You might want a glass of water, or a little pot of water nearby to you, just to wash your hands in between using the clay, but also just to make, if you're having a bit of difficulty getting the clay out of the pot as I am now, sometimes it can help. And in between using clay, so can you see, I'm not sure if you can see here, if I hold this up, you might not be able to see, maybe if I hold it in front of my face, you can see there are tiny, tiny little fibres in it, and so that's what holds it together. And in between using clay, you want to wrap it up really, really tightly, maybe even spray a little bit of water in the bucket, and that will keep it from going hard, because if you let the air get to it, so what I might actually do is open it up a tiny bit again, let some of the air out, and create almost like a vacuum seal. If you let the air get to it, it will go rock hard, and if you've got quite a big pot like this, you end up with a new doorstop very quickly. So yeah, so what I've got here, and if you add a bit of water to it, the clay will get a bit slimier, it might get a bit runnier, but you can just hold it in your hands. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to smooth this out quite a lot, and I'm going to make a seashell. And the way I'm going to do it is something that actually anybody can do. You don't have to be, as I said, not Grace and Perry, I'm not a potter, I'm not a sculptor, but I can make this, and anybody can make this. And it's also a seashell that's going to be personal to you, because the way you do it, so I'm going to smooth this out, smooth the top side, almost make it so that you have smooth top side here, just smooth it out, really smooth. doesn't matter if it's not perfect because it's what we're going to do next. And then, so I've got this, might even make it a little bit thinner. So this, and you'll actually notice when I do this, you can see the imprint of my palm on it. So then what you want to do is, I'm going to use my left hand because I've started doing it. What you're going to do is go squeeze your hand in like this. If you're feeling a bit stressed, if you're feeling like you've had a bit of a bad day, this is actually a really good stress reliever. And they've actually been, so I'm not a medical professional, I'm not a physiotherapist, but there have actually been studies to show that hand grip strength and gripping something, so we think of kind of releasing anger as like being really good if you're like punching something, but actually gripping something, that can be very, it can be stress relieving and it can lower people's blood pressure. So they've done experiments with things called, which I can never say, called hand dynamometers. These things that you grip, better hand strength, has really good benefits for you. So if you're feeling a little bit that you want to sort of get something out, your blood pressure's feeling a bit high, maybe try gripping something. And yeah, so then what I'm going to do, I've sunk my fingers into that, and you might be able to get to sort of really grip on something, but you might be able to make smaller indents, and that's fine because this shell is going to be personal to you. Then what I'm going to do is use my other hand and squeeze the clay around. So squeeze it around and push it over my knuckles, push it around here, smooth it down here, smooth it around here, smooth it. So I've almost got, my hand is almost embedded in this, and then I'm going to open my hand up. Then I have this. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the edge thin like a shell. And I'm also going to make the top, into a point. So I'm going to go round like this. So put it like that, and then I can smooth here, and you can see still we've got the marks of my fingers. And at the end, I'm just going to make it a bit pointy, you know, like some kind of cowrie shells that you see on the beach. So I'm going to make it that little bit more curved, and then here I'm going to make this a bit more rounded to make it more like a cowrie, and then around here where there are some cracks, I'm going to smooth it like that, smooth it like that, smooth it. Any cracks down here I'm going to smooth, and then in here, this would actually be the point where using some water would be very useful, but I do not have any water with me. It's all in the other room, so I've just got this here now. And what I might actually do is use the end of a pencil, and I'm just going to go round the top of this shell that I've made. And it's not very realistic, that maybe this is more the idea of a shell. I'm going to scrape off some of that clay. Now I have this spiral here. Scrape off that bit too. And actually, what we have is a shell. But it's not just a shell, it's a shell with fingerprints, and you can actually see the outline the ring I was wearing there, and it's a shell that will look very different. You can see the line that was my palm there. It's a shell that's going to look very different depending on who's making it. And you could do this and then flatten it out, turn it into more of a scallop shell. It can really be anything. Can I hear the sea? Not yet, maybe once it's dry. Might need to be a bit more open. But yeah, so this is the shell. And I will show you what it looks like in the next video, because then, once it's dry, I'll be able to paint it. So thank you very much for joining me, and I'll look forward to seeing you again next week, and hope you stay safe and well until then. Thank you. Goodbye.